If this, bro, if this spills, I'm gonna write a strongly worded email to myself, bro. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, and it's such a pleasure to be here. I know you guys don't know this, right? But it takes about 400 years for me to set everything up to do this, and this is my home, right? And by the time I sit down, I'm like out of breath. Maybe I got to hit the Stairmaster a little bit more. Anyway, thanks for coming back. And what do you say? This is the Reads with Ears podcast, episode 3. The weight of fame. Oh, it bears down on me, dude. It bears down, right? Heavy is the crown on the head, right? Ugh, what do you do? Gosh, this tastes like gosh dang milk with grass in it, bro. Anyway, what do you say, man? I'm actually making some progress on my writing again. I've been feeling totally uninspired. I was like doing research. I was like, should I just start a new work? Is it good for an author to just start a new work when he's feeling completely uninspired with the work that he has been writing for the last more than a year? And by almost all accounts, it was like, just finish it. Just finish the first draft, then take a break. Then you write other stuff if you need, and then come back and edit it. So that's what I'm doing. And it's an absolute, dude, it feels like I'm in the gosh dang French Foreign Legion with my little white hat walking through the Algerian desert. Do you guys know what I mean? But hey, man, heavy's the crown. Heavy is the crown. But I know why you're here, right? You're here to, let's talk about some books. Let's talk about some books that I've read. Let's discourse. That's why we're here, baby. What do we finish off with? Hey, last week it was How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a pretty decent book, man. I already talked about it last week. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But I like it. I've been really trying to apply some of those selfless practices in my day-to-day life. And gosh dang, brother, I'll tell you this, brother. You're just going to feel a little bit better about yourself and the world at large. Yo, this gosh dang lamp is in my way, bro. I feel feisty today. Just bear with me, guys. It's like I like the lamp in the middle of the table, of course, right? But when it's like that, then this disgusting tea that I'm drinking is on the absolute precipice. And if this hits my couch or the ground, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be writing from jail. I'm going to be writing from prison, bro, because that's going to be it for me. All right. Let's talk about some gosh dang books, baby. I almost said the second book first. That's wrong. You guys almost got a little sneak preview of what's about to happen in about 15 minutes. And that is also wrong. First, we're going to talk about Masters of Chaos. Again, I'm on my nonfiction kick. We are cleaning out the filters of the pool, baby. We are getting through all the books that we didn't really want to read for the last 6 years, and we're doing it now. So this is my 2020 TBR. Masters of Chaos is a book that was recommended to me when I was an emergency medical technician. And I bet a lot of you don't even know that about me, but it's true. I was an EMT, and I worked with a guy who was a veteran, and he was a medic in the Army, served in Afghanistan, I believe. And he recommended a couple books to me that were like military books. And he was like, maybe you'll like this. We kind of hit it off, he and I. Interesting book. It's not my favorite. It's not one I would reread like House to House. But it is interesting. I've always been kind of fascinated by the discipline that it takes to be special operations forces in any branch of the military. It was always very attractive to me. I never attempted it myself, but I have a lot of respect for those guys. Such a specific set of skills, right? Very Liam Neeson. What I thought was very interesting about this book, which I didn't know before, is that there's groups of special forces in the Army that are pretty much permanently assigned to different continents in the world. What do you think about that? We got one for Asia. We got one for South America, the Middle East, Europe. And those guys really don't get deployed to like the Middle East if you're assigned to Europe, unless you like pull a lot of strings and you really want to go there and fight bad guys. I thought that was kind of interesting, you know? Yeah, they got to learn a local language. They're tough cookies, man. Hey, they're tough cookies. And don't let anybody say that if you see a doggone Green Beret, he's not a little tough galleta, you know? Well, maybe I should chill with the accent. It's out of love, though. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I mean, I give it like a... okay. What do I give it? Bro, what do I give, Masters of Chaos would be like a 6 out of 10. It's like a little... no, it's like 5 out of 10. 5 thumbs up out of 10 thumbs. It's average kind of military book. Sorry. Maybe 6 feels mean. No, it's 5. That's fine. House to House, I'll talk about it right now. How's that? Look at this. I was doing research for my book. That's how you know your boy's been hard at work. Trying to give the world that sweet, sweet nectar of literature from my own cognition. David Bellavia. Sergeant David Bellavia? I'm not sure about that part. Medal of Honor recipient David Bellavia recounts his experience fighting from house to house in the cities of Fallujah and Baghdad in 2003. And it is, I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal. I know it's not everybody's cup of nasty, disgusting milk with grass in it tea, but I liked it a lot. It's just, dude, sometimes I read about these war experiences, books, true stories, and I think, man, I could go through anything I can deal with whatever I'm dealing with, because these guys they went through so much worse, dude. They're pooping their pants, you know what I mean? Because they have like a stomach bug, but they're also like shooting at freaking people that are trying to kill them with poop in their pants at the same time. I can deal with a long line at Costco. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. Gee whiz, bro. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is a poncho that I bought in Peru here. This is actually a little poncho. I know it looks like... It just looks like it might be like a throw blanket. But actually, this has a hole in it that you can put your head through. And that really powders my buns. Swaddles me up. I like it. On a cold day, man, nothing like taking a blanket with a hole in it that's made out of an alpaca wool, and putting it on your body. Just swathing yourself in a little bit of wool from a dang animal that is more bug than mammal. And let me just talk about llamas and alpacas really quick, because a lot of people don't know this. It's like a lot of people didn't know that I was an EMT, right? But I raised llamas when I was a young man, like a young child, I should really say. So I know a thing or two about llamas, man. And they are the most bizarre mammals that I have ever encountered in my gosh dang life. And that's really all I have to say about that. They're extremely bizarre. I mean, dude, they're just so weird looking. You know what I was wondering about the other day? And somebody who speaks Spanish can fact check me on this. Llamar is Spanish for to call, right? Like on the phone, or like, you know, just to call to somebody. ¿Cómo se llamas? Llamas? What do you call yourself? And I was like, That's obviously the same as llama, llama, you know? And I was like, what? Why are they called that? And then I thought, maybe llamas are called that because they make the most loud and insane sounding quacking noise when they feel like they're in danger. And honestly, if I were a Spanish conquistador naming them, maybe I would be like, we should call them llama because they are calling in a very crazy way. Maybe that's why. Fact check me on that. I don't know. Yeah, so the book I just finished, right? If you even want to call it a book, it's 3 hours as the year flies. It's called The King Within. It's a Jungian take on like specific shared subconscious archetypes that us human beings have. Do I believe in it? I don't know. I like some of what Jung says, right? The duality of man. It's like, I get that. I actually like that quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah, do I believe in it fully? I don't know. You know what I think is nice? Like, hey, listen, I think man or woman or whoever's watching this, you know, men need a little direction. I think we can all agree that whatever your thoughts on my guys are, me and the fellas, is that we need a little direction for sure. And I think a lot of men search for that in like self-help books. I guess I'm one of them because I just listened to this. Because a lot of guys don't have examples, you know? Like, I think I had a pretty good father. Oh, wow, we're back in therapy. I just realized. How nice. I had a pretty good example, I think, and it's still hard to like function out here and like be a good person and a good man, and you know, and figure out what that is and what that means in a changing society with changing gender norms and all these things, right? And I think that's very difficult for a lot of guys, and a lot of guys have very little direction. It's a quote I like very much actually from this book that goes something like, if you scratch the surface of a tyrant, you'll find a weakling. And if you pressure a weakling, you'll find a tyrant. And that's very true in my experience, I think. Very true indeed. What else? Gosh, that tastes so bad, bro. That drink tastes like absolute poop. Holy, bro. I'm talking about this book that I read about a year ago, roughly exactly a year ago, by Cormac McCarthy, All the Pretty Horses. I mean, golly gee whiz, partner. It's transformative. This book is maybe the lightest of all of the Cormac McCarthy books I've read, because he's a little dark. He gets a little dark with his writing. But this one, still dark, but it's beautiful in the simplicity of it. It's a classic hero's journey, right? Simplicity of that hero's journey contributes to its profundity. It's very profound. I love it. I love this book. I will say there's one scene from All the Pretty Horses that has stayed with me forever, and I can't even come close to realizing it the way that Cormac McCarthy does. But it's set in Mexico as the main character is presented with this impossible task of taming all these wild horses that live in the mountains of this Mexican farm. And he makes it the work of one day as he slowly and methodically, but with such care, goes from horse to horse and ropes them, breaks them. And the intimacy of it, the way that Cormac McCarthy describes him holding the horse as he's trussed up, right? This wild animal, and it's panting and it's trying to get away, and he's holding it here, and he's got it between his legs, and he's got its muzzle here, and the way that the heat of the horse's breath is affecting his torso, his open shirt on this hot Mexican day. It's one of those scenes that I come across every now and again when I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm usually a very active person when I'm listening to audiobooks. It's one of those scenes, though, that makes me stop everything and sit down and just listen to it like a Sunday homily. I'm waxing a little poetic myself talking about Cormac McCarthy. All the Pretty Horses, a gorgeous book and absolutely worth a read. Part of a trilogy. I cannot wait to read the second one sometime very soon. I'm going to talk about this book that I read last year, bro. Am I a cynic? Oh, man. Maybe. Legends and Lattes, man. Oh, bro, that book is not good. I'm sorry, but it's not good. And you can like it, and that's super cool, and I'm really on your side, and I'd like, whatever, but it's not good to me. Here's what I didn't like about Legends and Lattes. I like how in fantasy, especially in very light-toned, borderline like comedic fantasy, they'll have things in our world that are just like fantasized. They're italicized versions, right? For example, Terry Pratchett in the Night Watch series, right? Commander Vimes, he's like a fantasy police officer. He'll take photos of like a crime scene, but instead of an actual camera, it's like a little box with a tiny little fantasy imp inside of it. And he'll press the button, it like rings a little bell or something, and the imp will like look through the viewfinder and sketch a really quick photo and like print it out. So it's like a camera, but it's fantasized, right? I think this is done really poorly in Legends and Lattes because there's lots of things like this. An espresso machine makes an appearance, a ceiling fan, a character makes like cinnamon rolls and things like this. But always the excuse is like, oh yeah, this is like technology. This is gnome technology. The gnomes figured out how to make an espresso machine. The gnomes have the technology to make a ceiling fan. And it's like the characters are experiencing this for the first time ever. And they're like, wow, this is really incredible. Look, this is so, amazing. And I like that it's kind of like a love letter to coffee because I love coffee, But at a certain point, their novelty, it wears off. Like the novelty they're feeling because you're just like, okay, I get it. I know what a ceiling fan is. And it's not like an interesting new take of a ceiling fan. It's just the same thing. It's just like gnomes made it. Takes the whimsy right out of it. So I don't like that. I don't like that about Legends and Lattes. Other than that, I mean, the story's like technically sound. That's my opinion, Kind of falls off in that way, unfortunately. I have a question for you guys. Do you ever read a series, like a book series, that isn't your favorite, but it's good enough to finish, right? Especially like long ones, Like the Dark Tower. This is the Dark Tower for me. You ever read a series like that and you just miss it? Even though you didn't even love it. Like you didn't love it when you were in the middle of it. But you think back on the characters and the scenarios and the world and you just... you miss it, dude. That's how I feel about the Dark Tower a little bit. And that's why... This is my tip. That's why when there's spin-off books in a series, nowadays I like to read the main series and then I like to leave the spin-off books to read like a year later or 2 years later just to be able to revisit it. Ooh, I love that. My tulips are dead, bro. Oh, my tulips are dead. You know what sucks, man? That's the thing about buying flowers. I'm a big flowers guy. I like to have flowers. That was very loud. I like to have flowers in my home as much as I can. And that's, I know it's the beauty of it, that they bloom and they're vibrant and beautiful and then they die. And I like that. I do. That's poetic and I enjoy it. But it's also sad. It's also a little sad, bro, because they're my tulips, man. Or roses are my favorite, But I guess you just have to come to grips with that at a certain point, you know? And I'm sorry if I'm the one to tell you. Takeaway from today's little podcast. Gosh, guys. You know what? It might be that if I make this again, I'm going to have to put a little bit more sugar in it because this tastes absolutely foul. And yeah, that might be it. Takeaway for you guys. Hey, you want to change the world? It starts with you, partner. I hate to put it like that. You know, I'm not a therapist. I'm just a guy with a psychology degree, you know. But you want to change the world, it starts with you. Take a little accountability. Look yourself in the mirror. And I don't mean just look yourself in the mirror like in a judgmental way. This is one thing that is mentioned in The King Within. Look yourself in the mirror with love. Really look yourself in the eyes in a way that you would look at somebody who you love. And you'll realize the capacity, the power that you have right here, you know? Do that. Do that for yourself. Show yourself some love and show yourself some accountability. Fix the things that you don't like about yourself. And you're well on your way to fixing the world. And I love that. And that's why I love you, viewers. That's why I love the human race, because we have that potential. And there's nothing that makes me feel like that more than springtime, baby. I love this time of year. New beginnings, spring cleanings. It's thawing out. It's thawing out. All right, the next books I'm going to read, I think the next, what are we going to read next here, huh? Whoa, relax. My little robe is, anyway. I think I'm going to read, there's some great courses audiobooks, which is like really boring, but you know, I like that stuff, so what are you going to do? There's The Real History of Pirates that I think I added in 2022 that I would like to read. I'm also going to read Genghis Khan and The Quest for God, I believe is what it's called, nonfiction. And I think there was one more that I can't recall right now, but that'll be enough for you guys, right? Well, thanks so much for watching, if you did, and I tell you what, I feel something good is coming for you guys in the future. There's something good on the horizon, I know it. I feel that deep in my corazon, mama. So, keep doing what you're doing, keep improving yourself, keep being kind to other people, and I'm not saying that as a platitude. I want you to really put yourself second sometimes, in a healthy way. Keep doing that, and I'm gonna keep loving you, and keep making this stuff for you to consume if you want to consume it. And yeah, ve con Dios. Until next time, read to write, and ciao. And I'm gonna finish this absolutely disgusting beverage. Wow. And that's what you do, baby. That's what you do when you're addicted to caffeine, because you gotta.